You are listening to Smart Women's Dating Podcast, episode number 95. Welcome to Smart Women's Dating Podcast. I am your host, certified life coach Lærke Nielsen, and I help smart, independent women attract the love they deeply desire without having to chase or settle. This podcast will give you the mindset tools and insights you need to finally crack the code to your love life. Are you ready? Then let's go. Hey there. Do you know how important it is for your dating life, but also for your relationship, that you have a good friend circle, that you have enough friends to do the things that you want to do with, and that you can talk to and hang out with and have fun with, even if you have a partner or even if you are dating someone very interesting? Today, I'm going to talk about the importance of having friends, what it looks like when you don't have enough friends, when you don't have the friends that you want to have and you are dating, and what it looks like when you do, how it can help you in your dating life that you actually have a good friend circle. And I'm also going to share with you what it looks like in the early parts of a relationship if you let go of your friends or you decide to not prioritize them as much anymore because now you met the man of your dreams. What are the problems in that? And how it can help you in your early stages of a new relationship to stay connected with your friends and keep doing the things that you normally do. And of course, at the end, I'm also going to give you a few tips on how to approach finding new friends or finding the friends that you think you miss in your life. Because even if you have some friends, you might want to add to your friend circle so that you always have someone you can connect with to do specific things with. So let's start by looking at what dating looks like if you don't have enough friends or you don't have the friends that you want to have. This is a problem that is much more common than you might think. I hear this from a lot of my clients, both clients who are actively dating, but also clients who are recovering from a breakup. A lot of you spend so much time on your career and the things that you tell yourself you have to do. And so there's not enough time to cultivate your friendships. And maybe you have friends that you've known for a long time and you tend to have the same roles with them and you tend to do the same things. And that's all really great. But part of you misses having other friends that you can do other things with. This is not something that's talked a lot about. And I think it's also very much a taboo to say that you don't have enough friends or you feel that you are lacking something in your social life. I have a previous episode where I spoke to friendship coach Zain Khan, and we also talked about that in that episode, how it feels a little bit shameful or a little bit like there's something wrong if we don't have enough friends. And friends should not be something that we set intentions to go and find, like we decide we're going to find a partner. Nobody ever says, I'm going to find 3 new friends. But why not? It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with the friends you already have, but you might have lives that have separated. You have different lifestyles, and you miss someone that you can do different things with that your existing friends are maybe not interested in, or they don't have the time for if they are settled down with family and partner and so on. And I think it's really too bad that we don't talk openly about this because it is so, so important. And it really will give you a much healthier dating life and it will give you a much healthier relationship as well if you have enough friends and you have the right friends, the friends that you can do the different things with that are important in life. So a relationship can be so much more healthy if you have a friend that you can talk to once in a while and you can get a new perspective on things than if the friends you have are only someone where you don't share vulnerable information or you don't share really personal information. So the thing that happens when you're dating and you don't have enough friends or it feels like there's something missing from your social life is that first of all, you are just much more vulnerable when someone says no to you, when you receive a rejection from a man. Because in general, when there's not enough activity and not enough joy in your social life, you put way too much importance on finding a man. And it's almost like this is the thing that is really missing in your life. It's not just an addition to your life, it's like a big hole in your life. There's something really missing there, and it's painful not to have it. And you would rather have a situation where you already are in a good place and you really love your life, and a man is an addition. He is bringing something of value into this life. He's not fixing it, he's not saving you from your single life. When we put so much importance on finding a man, we also tend to go into a graspy and needy energy that we might not be able to sense ourselves. But this is what happens if you don't have a good solid base of friends and a good social life. Also, you will tend to get much more early attached. So the moment you feel there's a good connection with someone, it's really so much more important than it should be. So in a relationship, we both want the friendship part and the romantic part. There is these two parts together. And of course, you want both. But if you lack a good social circle, you will be prone to get attached to someone who might not be the best partner to you, but who could be a really good friend to you. And you feel that he is meeting a need of yours, and you try to tell yourself that you will adapt to the rest, or that will come in time. And that's true. Sometimes the romantic part and the attraction part will come in time, but at some point you need to decide whether it's there or not, and whether this could be a friendship instead of a romantic partner. So if we feel that there's something lacking in our social life and we meet someone in dating who could be a really good friend, we just try to make it work, and he could be interested in you as a partner, and you could feel really flattered by that, and you don't actually make the distinction between him being a good friend or a romantic partner. On the other side, if you are fully nourished by your social circle and you have the friends that you feel you need, it will be easier for you when you meet a man who is more a friend than a partner to recognize that and decide that you don't actually need that unless you want more friends, that you don't actually need one more friend, you need a romantic partner, and so it's easier to let him go. It's almost like you are not that hungry for the friendship part. There is also the validation part of having a social life. You get validation, social validation from your friends when you feel valued as a friend and you feel maybe useful as a friend as well. And that kind of validation, if you don't get that from your friends, you will be more prone to seek that from a man. And that can put you a little bit out of balance. And maybe also one of the consequences from not having a full social life could be that you go on dates that you don't actually want. But because they ask you and your agenda is open and you think, why not? I have nothing else to do on a Friday night. So you say yes to someone that you know you are a no to, or you give them more dates than you actually want to. It takes you longer to say no to them because you actually like the company and you don't have any appointments with friends. And as I started out by saying, you are more vulnerable to rejection. You will feel more sad after a rejection if you don't have someone to talk to. You might even feel a little bit lonely in that situation. And the same goes for someone canceling a date. It feels more sad, it feels more lonely when you don't have a plan B or you don't have someone that you're going out with the next day. That can actually help you shift the perspective a bit and get a more balanced point of view on things. And something that can happen here is that if you don't have someone where you feel you can be honest and vulnerable and share all these things on a regular basis, you can go into a negative spiral where you have very negative thoughts about yourself. And those thoughts get confirmed when you go on dates or you experience rejection, and then it will feel even worse and you will feel even more alone. And I always say that when you start dating, you want to do a mix of the dating apps, the online dating, but also meet people organically. And if you don't have friends to go out with, either because the friends you have are just never available or they don't want to go out, they want to stay at home, or you just miss having someone where you like going out with them, you're kind of robbing yourself for the possibility of meeting someone organically. And you can, of course, go out on your own, and I definitely recommend that you try that sometimes. it can build a lot of confidence to go out on your own. But if you have friends that want to go out and you go out regularly and you interact with them and you interact with their friends and they then suggest other things to do, you will be more in this community of people going out and get more exposure to new people on a regular basis. When you do have a good friend circle, when you do have a good social life, you will be more balanced. You will feel more at peace. It's not that you will be completely resistant to rejection. Of course, we can never be that, and you will always feel sad. You will always have pain from these kind of roller coasters that we can experience in dating. That is not something we can completely take away, but it's like the pain will be less and you will bounce much quicker back when you have this support system. You also have someone where you can talk to them and get another perspective on things, and finding a man will be less urgent to you. It will be less something you really need because you have friends to go out with. You can do a lot of the things that you want to do with friends. Of course, you still want a man, but you are in a place where your life is already so great that you can allow yourself to choose someone who really adds to your life. You are not in a hurry in choosing someone. You are not forced to settle with someone or just take someone because you miss having a social life. And of course, when you have a good social life and you feel that there is nothing that you cannot do because nobody's available, then he will also sense that on you. A man will find that very attractive. You will radiate with much more joy, and he will see that he is not your only source of joy. And that is also very attractive for a man to see that you are a woman who's capable of creating a fun and exciting and fulfilling life for yourself. So it's both because it makes you feel better and more resilient and more in a healthy balance when you have a lot of friends, but also because it makes you more attractive. So what happens often in early relationships, and I can say I have been guilty of this myself, is that once you meet someone, and I think this is valid for a lot of women, once we meet someone who's interesting and we start having a new relationship with them, we completely forget about the rest of our life, or at least we don't prioritize it to the same extent. And so your friends will experience that. It's like you disappear from the surface of Earth. You completely disappear out of their life. You are gone because now you met this new guy and they never see you anymore. You lose track of your friends and you focus on doing everything with your new partner, and you spend every weekend with him. And it's just this kind of cliche that now she's disappeared from the surface of Earth because she met a new man. And then what happens is we put a lot of strain on our early relationships if we don't balance it out with doing other things. If we see each other all the time, it can become very intense, and that can actually make it burn out too early. And if you then have a breakup after, let's say, 3 to 6 months, you will feel really alone because now you lost track of your friends. You have to reconnect. You have to update them on everything that happened. And it almost can feel like you have to squeeze yourself into their life again. I know I've done that in my past myself. I completely lost connection with people and had to reconnect again after a breakup. So we do become less resilient when we focus all our energy on our partner, even if everything goes super nice in the first weeks or even months. At some point, there will be a crisis. There will be something you have to navigate, and maybe it's going to be difficult because all of a sudden it's not as perfect as you thought it would be. And if you have forgotten to cultivate the rest of your life and your friends, you will feel more vulnerable. You will feel more insecure. And your emotional well-being just depends too much on one person, and that is just never healthy. So unfortunately, a lot of people do this. They tend to spend so much time with their partners and do everything together. And we could say that the needs that we used to have a whole village to cover are now being put on the shoulders of one person. And that means that we become much more needy, we become much more dependent and much more vulnerable. On the other hand, if you keep connected to your friends in the early stages of a new relationship, then the relationship can develop in a healthy pace. You will stay more balanced yourself and also more able to see any potential red flags. You're not so dependent on this relationship working out if you still have connection to the rest of your life. And it's actually okay that you get to miss him a bit and he gets to miss you. It's good to create a little bit of space between you, even in the early stages, so that you don't burn it out too fast. You will appreciate him more when you're together if you're not together all the time, and you will not take him for granted to the same degree. And the same goes for him. He will appreciate you more when you're not available all of the time. And he gets to experience that you have a life on your own. And again, that he isn't the only source of joy for you. He's not going to be responsible for your full happiness. You can take care of that on your own. So it should be obvious for many reasons that it's important to have friends. And even if you're not dating, and if you're not in a relationship, if you're not planning to meet someone, and you actually feel that you have a good life on your own, you still want to have a selection of friends that allows you to do the things that you want to do without having to convince people. So why is it that you don't have the friends that you want? A lot of people tell me that they don't have enough friends or they don't have the right friends. They want someone to do different things with than the friends they already have want to do. Now, there could be different reasons why we don't have enough friends. And one of them, of course, is how you see yourself, your own confidence or your self-esteem. If you don't feel that you have value to bring to a friendship, and you are an interesting person, and you are fun to be with, and so on, this is something you have to work on. Because if that is holding you back from being fully authentic and showing yourself to the world, of course, it's more difficult to get friends. So you can ask yourself, where are you when it comes to social confidence on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is maximum super confident and 1 is you'd rather hide and never go outside your apartment. Where are you on that scale and where do you want to be? You could experience that you are a little bit socially awkward, or maybe you are even socially anxious. And those are things that you want to take a look at and work on, because you can learn how to change that. And that will make you feel much more safe and confident when you go out and meet new people. So in that case, I would advise you to maybe work with a coach or a therapist and find the reasons why you have this very negative and self-critical thought and learn how to rewire that. Or you can also listen to podcasts or read books if that seems to work better for you. Another reason you don't have the friends that you want to have is maybe that you don't know where to meet them. You don't know where to meet new friends in your daily life. And the ones that you have, they always want to stay home with their partners or kids, or they just don't want the same things as you. And here you want to try to look for different networks, what exists in the area where you live, and maybe you can even take some initiatives yourself, create something, invite the people that you know, ask them each to invite a person so that you get to meet new people. It could also be that you maybe are too critical of the people you meet. And here you want to pay attention because that could be a pattern that also repeats in dating. Now, if we are very fast at judging people and deciding they are not someone I can be friends with or they are not someone I can be partner with, then of course you limit your possibilities. And when it comes to friends, it's of course easier than when it comes to a partner because you can have a lot of different friends, whereas you can only have one partner. So you can actually be much less critical when it comes to friends because you don't have to find someone that you can do many different things with. You can actually just find a friend that you can do a few things with, and then it's okay if you can't do all the rest with them because then you have other friends for the rest. I think it's also important to mention here that a lot of you are very busy, you have a very packed daily life, you have a very tight agenda, and you feel that you don't actually have time to meet new people. This is really too bad, and I want to challenge you a little bit on that. And maybe you can ask yourself here, are there some things I can do with people that I have to do anyway? So we all have to eat, for instance, and that is something that's usually a very social activity. So if you can somehow organize meeting up with people for a dinner that you invite people to, or you decide a restaurant and then you invite people to come there with you and to bring some other friends with them, so that you meet new people like this, but doing something that you are going to do anyway. So it's not taking out extra time from your agenda. Or it could be if you decide to go on a hike, why not see if there is someone in your friend circle who wants to do that and they have other friends that they can bring. Try to be creative in your thinking so that you don't necessarily need to spend a lot of extra time. You can just do your normal daily activities with new people. And try to be open when you go out and you meet people and you talk to people in different contexts. This is very much like when you think of dating and you think of meeting a man. It's all about being in the energy of being approachable and being open to connect. So when you go out to an event or a friend's party or something else, you want to be open to talking to people, even strangers. And if you feel there's a good connection, why not exchange contact info, and then you could decide to organize something for a group of people somewhere outside your own home on a Sunday afternoon, going hiking, going for a walk, going to test a new cafe or whatever. There are so many creative ways that you can think about this that don't have to take you extra time. And we want to remember here that when we talk about friends, you don't have to find a friend that you can do everything with. That is not the criteria. And if you find it very difficult to connect with people and to meet someone that you actually find interesting, you want to also remember that a friendship, it's the same as with dating, it develops depending on both parts. So it's not only a question of who the other person is, it's also how you are interacting together. The friendship is something you create together. It's not something that either they are a good match or not. You can create that together and you can find the common points that can make you a good match in a certain area. So you want to also make sure that you're engaging enough in them, that you are sharing something personal when you speak to someone, and you are open to opening up yourself and allowing yourself to be authentically you, and sometimes stand out a bit, show your more quirky sides, but also dare to be vulnerable. Those are things that connect both in dating and in friendships. So if you find that you meet a lot of people, but you don't really connect with them, then think about your own part of this. It's not just a question of the other person. A friendship is something you create together. It's your interaction. So to give you a few tips on how to think about your friendships. First of all, I would advise you to make a list of all the activities that you want to do with friends. And that could be, I want to go into nature, I want to go and do some hikes, I want to have deep conversations, I want to go and listen to lectures or conferences, I want to go to cultural events, I want to go out to restaurants, I want to go to nightclubs, I want to go shopping with someone, or I want to go to concerts with someone. All the things that you want to do with friends, you make a list of all these activities. I want to recommend you to, on that list, you definitely want to have the point of sharing personal and vulnerable information. You need to have some friends that you can do that with. And of course, you also want to have the point of having fun, some kind of light and fun activity. And it doesn't have to be with the same people here. That's the whole point of this. Because the next step is then you look at your list and then you note down the names of the people you already know and that you can do different things with. Someone who already wants to go hiking, who already wants to go to a nightclub or a cafe or whatever, so that you don't have to convince them. But this is something that she's going to love to do, and I can always call her and ask, hey, do you want to go there? So put in the names of the friends you already have and see where they fit into your list of activities. And then, of course, you can see, where do I need still to add some people to my social circle? Where do I need to find new friends? What are the things I feel that I don't really have friends to do that with today? And so that will make your search much more specific. And you can also be less critical of the people you meet if you know that I just need to find someone I can go and have fun with. I'm covered when it comes to being vulnerable and sharing personal information. I already have someone that I can do that with. So I'm just looking for someone I can do the fun and more superficial stuff with. Or I'm just looking for someone I can do the sporty things with, go hiking and so on. And like this, you also can more easily find out where should I look for those people. If I'm going to look for someone who wants to go hiking, what about looking up different communities where they go hiking together, different meetup groups, for instance, or other things that exist in your local area. And then you can go and sign up for some events and meet people who already like to do what you want to do there. And then, of course, you also want to remember that building a friendship and building a healthy connection that feels nourishing to you, fun to you, and genuine is something that requires an effort on both sides and is something that takes a little bit of time. So if you don't feel that you can connect with someone after meeting them once, there might still be a potential. It might be that you just need to meet them a few more times. So again, a parallel to dating. Yeah, so this was what I had to say about friendships, and I really hope that you found it useful. I think it is so important, and it's something we don't talk enough about. Probably because there is an element of taboo in admitting to not have enough friends, but it is so much more common than what you think. So many of my clients tell me that they would love to have more friends. They don't have enough friends. They miss having friends they can do different things with. And that is valid whether you are getting over a breakup and you feel a bit alone, or whether you are dating and you need someone to go out with. So friendships are super important. It will help you create a more healthy and stable life with more and better emotional well-being, but also more healthy relationships with a romantic partner. And if you need some support in shifting your mindset around yourself and your thoughts around yourself, if you feel socially awkward or you feel you're lacking confidence, this is definitely something I can help you with. And what I want to invite you to do is book a call with me so we can chat and I can tell you how I can help you. I have different solutions and different packages that you can choose between, and then we can see if we feel it's a good match, and you can work with me as your coach. And all you have to do that is book a free call on the link in the show notes, and then I would love to speak to you. So I'll be back again next week, and in the meantime, have fun and go out there and meet some new people that you could be friends with. Go out and do some of the fun things that will make dating easier for you. If you like what you're hearing on this podcast and you want to get support from a coach on your love journey, I invite you to book a free consult call with me. You will find the link in the show notes. And also, don't forget to subscribe, and I would love it if you would rate and review this podcast, and then you'll also help other women find it.